So today we have many different churches represented in this room who are going to share with us around how they are speaking up about the first 1,000 days and why the first 1,000 days are so important, but also speaking up into some of the challenges families are facing. So we're going to hear from Sophie first. So I don't know, Sophie, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're joining from and a little bit of why you think speaking up about the first 1,000 days is so important.
Hello everyone, my name is Sophie Hendricks. I am from the Villiersdorp Community Church in the Western Cape. I'm also, apart from being a community mobilizer, I am also a Flourish host. So the first 1,000 days is something that's really very close to my heart. I have my first aha moment, that moment, realizing how important the first 1,000 days is, was when I heard about the nurturing care framework when I attend my first meeting, church and early life meeting with Sikunye in Worcester, and that was 4 years ago. So it was really such an eye-opener to see how the nurturing care framework, how babies' brains being developed, and also that they can have reach their full potential in life, reach their full God-given potential in life.
Thank you, Sophie. That's great to have you with us. I'm just going to get everyone else to introduce themselves and then we can ask questions. So Likaleli, Pastor Likaleli, do you want to introduce yourself? Tell us where you're joining from and a bit around why you think speaking up about the first 1,000 days is important. Hi.
I'm from Welkom, Free State. I'm from the Nazarene Church. I think it is good. The first 1,000 days is good because this stage is a development where the child developed. So the relationship is very important from there, from the younger one with the parents or the father or whoever who is involved with the relationship is very important where the child will bond.
Now, thank you, Likaleli. So we've got also Naledi who's joining us. And Naledi, would you like to just say hi, introduce yourself, and tell us a bit of why you want to talk about the first 1,000 days?
Okay, I'm Naledi Agatha Ini from Mpumalanga province. Komansdal is my village. We are a deep rural village. I feel that it's important to speak about the first 1,000 days of a child because of the things that I have learned since I became a member of Sikunye. As a healthcare worker, I have gotten empowered even more because I only knew the physiological side of things. Now I also know the spiritual side of things in terms of the growth of a child while still in utero. So it also taught that even the brain, 80% of the brain of the child develops at that time. So I think it's important that we preach about the Sikunye to the communities, to the fathers out there, because we, especially in our culture, my culture, the fathers are always so far, especially if the child was conceived out of marriage. The family will feel that it's a taboo, it's a disgrace, then they will cut off the father from the life of the child. So if we empower church members, I believe the mindset will change. Even if you touch one person in a day or in one Sunday, that person will teach one another.
We have Teresa joining us. Do you want to say hi and let us know where you're joining from and why you think the first 1,000 days are important to talk about?
Yes, bright afternoon. My name is Ditori Somputi. I am an evangelist and I fellowship with God's Love Ministries International. You know, when I first heard about Sikunye and attended one of the presentations on the role of the church in early life. Since then, you know, I've been very vocal and an advocate in the community around the first 1,000 days. And so I am also a Flourish Project coordinator in the Free State, where we run antenatal and postnatal classes in the communities. You know, our focus is on maternal health, and we support moms and, you know, moms during their pregnancy and also moms once the baby is born. And we support them in things like breastfeeding and latching the baby correctly in order for the mom to have a successful breastfeeding experience. So I'm also a Segunya community mobilizer, where I have mobilized over 300 partners since joining Segunya in 2020 to partner with the vision of Segunya and, you know, the important role that the church has to play in the first 1,000 days of a child's life, you know, for children to thrive and reach their God-given potential.
Thank you, Teresa. So you're speaking up in your workplace, and also I know personally you have family that are pastors, and you've been speaking to other pastors. So I love it that your passion's there, that it's spreading through every area of influence that you have. Teresa, do you want to share with us about what or how you are speaking up, how you've managed to speak to other pastors? So what platforms have you used to speak to other pastors? How did you speak to your pastor the first time you heard about the first 1,000 days to get them on board?
I remember just, you know, feeling, you know, at the aha moment, this is what, you know, local church members need. This is what pastors need to know, so that we can even surround these mothers in the spaces of the church. So how I actually started was through the pastor's wife. I told the pastor's wife first because I'm more closer with her. So I told her about this. I said, I attended a Segunya Church and Early Life event. It's online. I really want you to join. And she also, you know, just quickly also joined the Church and Early Life event. And she was also, I remember her very excited as well. And I think after we activated, we attended the home visiting training as a group. You know, the pastor's wife was there and a few members of our church. The Sunday school teacher was also joining us. And I just remember us being so excited to implement it in the church. And well, we felt, oh, we also need to tell the pastor. So the pastor's wife told the pastor. And so he gave us a go-ahead to say, you know, just implement anything. And we just started small steps, you know, those small steps, because sometimes when pastors start hearing, you know, this overwhelming information of Segunya, they think that it's a whole program, it's a whole project that they need to implement in the church. And it's not really. It's just those small things that you do, Brian. Like how we started was that we just offered juice. You know, on sunny days, we just offered some juice just to show them that, you know, we care about you, and we are, you know, you are in our thoughts. And in winter times, we'd provide rooibos tea right at the back, where moms could just come in, have a nice warm hot cup of rooibos tea. So, and then, you know, things just developed. And when church members were also on board, they were like, no, why don't print cushions? Because at Flourish, we also have these nice Flourish branded cushions. So one of the moms that attended my classes said, no, why don't we actually also incorporate cushions into the church, but with nice scriptures on them. So started having like nice scriptures, I'm wonderfully and fearfully made by God, on the actual pillows that moms can sit on, so that it's still also sending a lovely message to the moms as well. So we've just did those small steps, just to say we're here for you. And in last year, when Segunya came in Tsakane for the Gauteng Indaba, we actually got posters that we can hang in the the church that are saying, I am a first 1,000-day church, a friendly church. So we have that wonderful poster that Sigunya gave us. That's actually saying it vocally now to church members, anyone that comes to join our church. And it's right there. You know how they say, once you keep on seeing something, it actually goes into your head. So as you're reading that message, we as a church, we are first 1,000-day friendly church. So in my own personal capacity as a Flourish project coordinator, what we also do is that we in our antenatal classes, you know, we support moms. We speak up around the first 1,000 days. I've also went on radio stations. I was on Musupatsila FM. I also was on Muteo FM last week, just speaking around the importance of the first 1,000 days and how critical it is during those first 1,000 days. Also, we've part of church members, you know, through my work as a mobilizer, community mobilizer, it really snowballed. It was a snowball effect because, like you said, Brian, you know, I come from a family of pastors. My mother is a pastor. My father is a pastor. So when I also told them, they also ran with it. You know, my mom gave me 5 pastors' contacts. My dad also gave me a couple, and I was calling them, and those 5 also gave me more 5. It was just a ripple effect.
So it's interesting that Ritsu, as a community member and church member, you've managed to get your own church on board by speaking to the pastor's wife and then to the pastor. And you've done all of our trainings, and then you've been speaking to the parents to hear their, as you say, emotions and their needs and wants. And so then also, as you said, speaking through networks. And we know that you've mobilized a lot of churches around South Africa. And then you've also been on the radio. Like maybe you want to just quickly share, how would someone else get on a radio station if they want to speak about it? Or how, what is the way that you are networking, should I say, to be able to speak up?
I first went to a local radio station at EKFM, you know, just to tell them we are a non-profit organization and this is what we do. Can you please just give us a slot, even if it's a 5-minute slot? And you'd find that presenters are actually very keen to have people come and talk and to share what is happening in the community. They even have slots where you can actually tell them what's going on in the community, what are some of the support systems that are available in the community. So that's how I actually realized that radio stations do actually provide slots for, you know, for telling people around what's happening in the community. So I actually used that opportunity to share even about Sigunya events that we have, the Sigunya trainings that we host. So, and it's not, sometimes people think, no, radio is quite hefty. You have to pay for a slot and all of those things. But if you go there and you kind of presentable and you're like, this is the work we do, you know, you show them the kind of things, your offerings, because sometimes, you know, I just go there and I'd have the antenatal guidebook or something, have a poster, a pamphlet of what Sigunya does. And then that's when they are more keen to have you on the radio station and the things that the offerings that you have and the local things that are happening.
So when you're sharing what's happening in the community, you can find a 5-minute slot. And I think it's a great way for churches to say, like if they're hosting a mom's group or maybe a dad's group, if they've done the fatherhood in the first 1,000 days training, or any parenting workshops they might do for families in the first 1,000 days. I think it's a great way for advertising. So thank you, Datrita, for the tip. And then Sophie, I know that you have been doing a different way of speaking up, which is sharing on social media. Do you want to share with us how you're doing that, or maybe a bit like what made you choose Sikunya's social media, and then how are you doing it?
Hi, Bryony. The reason why I share Sikunya's post on social media is because I have I realize I have a bigger reach. And the information that Sikunye shares is always new, it's trusted, and also like it raises awareness on how families can be responsive to their babies, and also how to raise happy and healthy babies. And because of I realized not only in my community, but I'm reaching like so much more. The audience I reach is like wider, and using it on my social medias, on WhatsApp, and there is inquiries about it, and then I encourage others through that medium. I encourage others, but to reach out that the churches can be registered in being part of a first 1,000-day friendly church, because the church have a trusted voice in reaching communities, and also like speaking up is like one of the key components of a first 1,000-day friendly church. And I also like how Sikunye share like about different topics, like addressing myths, also when it comes to parenting skills within our communities, and yeah, looking at the barriers and addressing it. And it's just such, yeah, it's so helpful, especially topics concerning breastfeeding, um, yeah, safety policy at the church, the different topics Sikunye cover, and then I share it on my social media page.
Thank you, Sophie. And what are you seeing as you share on your social media page? I mean, as a way of speaking up, as you say, the resources or the posts that we share are from trusted sources. Are you seeing parents engaging, or is your community asking you more questions, or is your church asking you questions? Like, so how are you finding by speaking up that way? Because I know you also speak up in other ways as well, if you want to share a bit of that. But like, how are people responding, should I say? Is it working in speaking up?
Yeah, definitely. And also remember, as the fact that I was doing the home visiting training, the Katalela training, being a florist host, I definitely use that information. Also, when it comes to a pregnant mom, what to pack for the hospital. Also, my sharing or speaking up regarding fatherhood. It's also, it's also always nice, or it's always good to have trusted information, and it definitely help. It definitely raise awareness. It's not Sophie. It doesn't come from Sophie. It's a broader and wider community. And Sikunye really carry a lot of weight in the information. And I'm not sure, but I'm sure that other people are also checking out your page because of what I'm sharing. So it definitely make a huge difference to share the information to the moms, to the fathers, to connect them, to connect the dots, if I can put it like that, and that they can also see that collaboration is very important. And yeah, so it is really, and also when it comes to the scripture sharing, like because there's one scripture, Proverbs 31, 8 to 9, that says that we have to speak up for those who doesn't have a voice. And in this case, to yeah, speaking on behalf of the babies. It's such a huge honor. And yes, and I just want to say to you at Sekunye, it really make an impact and it really make a difference. And you actually make it easier for me to share and reach so many more families within the first 1,000 days, and also encourage churches to sign up and become a first 1,000 day friendly church.
Good. Thank you, Sophie, so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. So let me see. Okay, Naledi, you're with us. So Naledi, you have attended the Umkhmazi in Daba, and when you were there, because your church had been committed for over 6 months, you received a poster, and I see that you have put the poster up on the wall in your church, and I know that's been starting conversations with your congregation about what is a first 1,000 day friendly church. And I heard from you recently, so I'd love you to share with us some more about how you have been having Sunday sessions about the first 1,000 days, and how you have planned in November, I think you're going to be doing it, right? Launching a synod for first 1,000 days, and that you've been giving short lessons or talks in your Sunday services. And I know that you've had lots of questions that have come to you about how to deal with things like when fathers disappear, or and so I wanted you to share with us and other pastors here today and other church members how you've done that, how you went about sticking the poster up, how you've decided to start Sunday services, or even your first 1,000 day synod. Would you be able to share with us what you're doing?
After I received the poster during the Nkomazi in Daba, it was time that I introduce Sigunye to the church. I have been attending, but I never addressed the congregants about Sigunye and the first 1,000 days of a child. So I requested permission from the chairperson of the church and also the organizer of the church. I brought the poster. One Sunday, the poster was put up by the youth, especially the males. Then it was never introduced to the church. It was just a poster on the wall with pictures, with the slogan of Sigunye. I was given a slot by the leaders of the church through the program director of the day. I stood up and spoke to the church about the first 1,000 days of a child, what it means, what Sigunye means, and the poster, and also the slogan that is on the poster, the meaning of that slogan, that you should know the beginning of the story so that you can be able to change the end of the story. So, meaning that the child must be known from the beginning so that it can be a better child one day when they grow up. They need love and attention and care from the beginning. And it is not the responsibility of only the parent. It is also the responsibility of the church to assist in the upbringing of the child, especially in the first 1,000 days of their lives. So the questions that came out there, most of the questions were the worry that most of the fathers, since after the emphasis that I made, that the fathers should be allowed, should be involved, whether working or not working, whether rich or not rich, whether married to the mother of the child or not, they should be allowed to be part of the child every step of the way. So the question that came up was, what if the father is not there in the life of the child? Maybe the mother do want the father to be there, but the father has left due to certain reasons, or maybe the relationship has ended. So my response to that was, if each and every one of us can know about Sigunye and its aims and objectives, and teach and pass those teachings to every member of the community. Every church member should know it, and we should pass it to every member of the community. That will help our community members to understand and get involved. That will help also the fathers to be involved. So if we all get that information, the resistance will change. So if we all...
Likeleli, I thought about that time that you had the Compassionate Sunday where you spoke about the children with disabilities and specifically with
Yes.
Down syndrome. So I'd love to hear more about what made you do that and how it raised awareness in your church and in your community of children with Down syndrome.
My granddaughter was born with a Down syndrome, so we didn't have any information prior about the Down syndrome. So because of that, we were shattered when we heard this Down syndrome. We were crying. We lost hope. We were saying that, God, why are you giving us this child? But along the way, we learned about this child and how to treat the children with Down syndrome. So because of that, this encouraged me, because I was saying that to my community, people didn't know anything about the Down syndrome. The people do have the Down syndrome children, the parents, but they are there at their corners. They're even afraid to speak up about the children. They're afraid, they don't have even support. So that one encouraged us to do a Compassionate Sunday, where we were inviting the parents who have the Down syndrome children, and then we even had the poster, the pamphlet from Dr. Dorothy, who was in Bloemfontein. My granddaughter was attending there. So Dr. Dorothy, I asked her the material for the Down syndrome to make the community aware. So we invited all the parents. We went to radio and invited all the parents with the down who have the Down syndrome children to come with them at the church, so that they can know that they are not alone. We are here as the church, and God loves them. God trusted them to raise those children, the special children, because they are so special, the Down
So
syndrome
Rachel,
children.
you're with us, and I'd love you to tell us what your role in your church is and how, just the community that you're in and how you are speaking up about the first 1,000 days.
Yes, my name is Rachel Nduli. I'm a pastor in my own right. I'm married to an apostle, Goodman Nduli. We have been founders of the ministry. I'm now 18 years into pastorship and leadership in the ministry. We are staying in Balfour, Mpumalanga. The name of my church is Latter Glory Charismatic Church, and we are located right at the center of our small township, which is classified under a semi-rural area, and it has got a lot of farms around us. I was introduced to Sigunye during COVID, and when we were all not working and we are sitting there, and a few pastors came to my house coming from Gauteng, and then they introduced they were with Ditoriso. Ditoriso actually introduced me to Sigunye, and she told me about, there were a lot of things that they were bringing into my house, but my heart stuck with Sigunye because I've always been a youth worker. I've worked with the youth. COVID struck. We were not working. We were just seated there. And that was my aha moment to say, women are being taken care of, men are being taken care of lately, and the youth has always been in the limelight, but there was nothing that speaks to children. Sorry, there was nothing that was saying, what does God say about these little ones? Because they don't have a voice, and they are, vulnerable. They can die because we've made mistakes and because we are not taking good care of them. But I thank the Lord for Sigunye, because I learned through the first 1,000 days to say, I know that God cares, but I now had something very solid to bring to the people. I've always worked with moms, I've always worked with pregnant ladies, but I didn't really have something, concrete to give to them. And Sigunya says to me, you can now go to them and say, we care, we are together with you, and God cares through us because we are there for you. And it gave me like the voice that I did not have. It gave me the platform that I could not reach to. I normally say that I've been going to our local clinics and telling people about God, giving them hope, the pregnant moms, the ones that I've left, that have lost children or lost fathers of their children. But I had really nothing on my hands. But as soon as I came and introduced Sigunya and introduced, the church after this, the Sigunya Indaba, that everybody looks at me very differently. People, when they see me, they are now beginning to tell each other to say, go to that woman, she can assist you. And now it draws people to me. But I also know that those people are not only drawn to me because I've got nothing to give to them, but I can instill hope. I can give them what God has given me, what God has given us through other people, to say to them, there's hope. We can still give birth to kids. And as a result, this is going to be a new generation that is going to know the Lord, that is going to love the Lord, and that is going to fear the Lord.
I love how you said how you go to the clinic and like the mums are actually now saying go to that lady because you've got good information on hand around how they can care for their young ones, and whether it's unborn baby or whether it's a newborn baby. So thank you, Rachel, for sharing with us.